Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is WIDAD HANIF bin HAMDAN, matric number 2213731. And today I would like to go presenting about on the topic of men with problem solving skills. First of all, let me know what is problem solving skills in Islam and the definition of problem solving skills. So, problem solving skills in Islam is a strategies for dealing with problems from the perspective of Islam, include a set of cognitive and behavioral effort that make human being overcome the difficulties of life and solve their problem in the best possible way by relying on the sources of divine safety, such as we know, Quran, Sunnah, and others. And from the Islamic point of view, problem solving is the process of effectively confronting challenge without haste or avoidance, which is accompanied by rational optimism. It is also have a research finding shown that trust in God, emotions control, recognizing the problem, identifying control and obstacles, thinking and consulting is an important part of the process of dealing with problems that affect how people evaluate the problem and its severity and moderate the effect of crisis and also severe life problem and create a level of acceptance and trust when faced with a problem. And also we can see there are two type of problem solving skills, or we can say that facing problem. The first is in the positive way of positive thinking about the problem. So positive thinking about the problem is including assess the problem as a challenge, not a threat, and believe that the problem I can solve. Because this is optimist, and this is also include the mindset. Your mindset is very important to you to in order to solve the problems, not only for a problem like a small problem. It also a big. It also can be include to big problems and so on. And third is believe in your personal ability to solve problems successfully. Because you need to have confidence in you. And next, commit yourself to problem solving instead of avoiding it. Some people here nowadays want to want to solve the problem, but instead instead of instead of doing that, he avoid it. He ran away from the problem. Next, the belief that success problem solving require time, effort, and perseverance. And also, there are second type of facing problems, which is the negative one. And and the example is looking at the problem as serious threat to well-being and comfort, and expectation that problem are not solvable. As I said, this is a really serious problem that our mindset that set us to as a problem that it is really hard and not cannot be solved even we try. This is our mindset. So we need to change our mindset from the negative one into the positive one. Next, doubt about your personal ability to solve the problem successfully. And lastly, be frustrated. This is really can be we can really see in students where they're facing their problem of life or hard hard assignment and something like that. And okay, so next we move on to the ways to dealing with problems. So logical problem solving. The definition is that the logical problem solving is a constructive dimension in which the information and facts are carefully and systematically collected. Existing demand and barriers are identified and the goal is determined. Then a variety of alternative solution are proposed and the possible consequences of each are assessed. As the solution is selected and implemented, the result can be carefully evaluated, where we can be seen the result clearly. And this is why the technique is described as an efficient one. It is also not only efficient, but it also comparative, wisely, logical, systematic, which is include that all of that, which is all of that is a technique and principle in problem solving skill. As in accordance with what quoted by Bayrami, Hashimi, and Alizadeh. And next, the adherence. Adherence is the teaching of Islam that gives meaning to life and is a shortcut through the which a new strategy and can be used to solve problem. In general, Islam encourage men to actively try to solve the problem instead of denying it. So as we mentioned it in the negative way. Instead of solving the problem, he ran away. He avoided it. And in other words, problem-solving strategy in Islam reflect a kind of love and attachment and a secure relationship with God and spiritual relationship with others Muslim and others people. In this type of conversation, problems are not considered as a kind of bad luck or mean of revenge. Believers meant to the teachings of the Quran believe that problem can be solved by relying to the God, which is we are relying on Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and asking Him, and therefore it will be tried and will try to solve the problem. Just we need to rely on God and istiqamah. Before relying to God, we need to istiqamah in doing solving the problem. And people who believe in religion teaching do not feel miserable and helpless in the face of problem and believe that by trusting in God, a suitable solution can be found for the problems. And next, the most important thing is that before making the decision to solve a problem, one need to know that the problem and examine all its aspects. As what Ibn Shubah Haroni said in his books, before you enter a problem, stop until you know the place of it, entry and exit. Otherwise, you will regret it. As what he said is like what I explained before, where you need to know the problem before you face it. You need to know how the basis of the problem. And in problem solving, discovering the root and cause of the problem is important. And we must also try to replace a long-term solution with cross-sectional solution, such as utilization of the environment, where it is also an important part in problem solving. And in the time of Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this was one of the function of the mosque or the house of of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In problem solving, one can seek help from others, both intellectually, physically, and economically, because finding a solution does not necessarily mean problem solving individually. We can also use it as socially and public, and also and also we can ask our friend or something or our family and or our lecturer to solve the problem. It also can be noted that problem solving formula are generally different from problem solving formula in a certain way in certain cases. Next, move on to the hadith, where the hadith is stated that man arada an tastajaba da'watahu wa an takshafa karbatahu fata fan fayan fayan fal falyafraj an mi'asir, where meaning is if a person wants his dua to be accepted, he should solve the problem of another person who is difficulty. Sub 22. This hadith is narrated is sound from si Munawi Faidul Qadr. Hadith 8390. And that dua that remind of verbal to Allah. The dua that is mean is that dua remind of verbal required to Allah does not mean that it is a form of demand, realizing only with words. What makes a dua real dua is what visually fit it and enable it to be accepted as a deed or deeds. Prophet Muhammad SAW is a model for us in dua along with all other things. He taught us to support verbal dua with actual dua, which is deeds or amal salihah. As this is advised us to fulfill the necessary condition and dread for a request to happen before wanting it. And also the hadith of if person want the previous hadith, where it also attacks attention to respect. Thus, it is necessary for verbal dua to Allah to originate from the slave's deed and to be supported by it. When we utter dua, if it combined with deed and it indicates the result will be affected positively. And next, yeah, we have reached our conclusion. So, as a conclusion, how to deal with a problem is cognitive and behavioral process that is guided by individual and is in which he tries to find effective and adaptive solution to his life problem. And the perspective of Islam, from the perspective of Islam, one should have a positive view of problem solving and examine all the aspect of problem wisely and not emotionally. Like nowadays all people like having a problem, but they didn't solve the problem wisely. Instead of that, they got rage and angry about the problem because of he said that the life is unfair or something else. And in problem solving, discovering the root and cause is important, and it should be noted that problem solving formulas are not the same anywhere. And the use of spiritual factors in problem solving, such as trusting in God and praying, plays an essential in the face of the problem. Thus, I end my presentation with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm WIDAD HANIF. Thank you.